Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chat. This week, oh my goodness, I'm excited to chat with you about beauty brands and how, some brands they're on the top, they're doing so well and they get a little too comfortable. And then the next thing they know, they're out of business. So there's got to be a path. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be something that is happening that is taking these big beauty brands. I'm thinking Becca. I'm thinking, Revlon filing for bankruptcy. I'm thinking Glossier not doing well. I'm thinking, there's so many brands. We'll go into it, but there's so many brands that have been Morphe filing for bankruptcy. That's another one. They felt like they were on top of their game at some point, and then now they're either non-existent or filing for bankruptcy. You know what I'm saying? So there had to have been some kind of path, something that they did wrong, that other brands that had similar notoriety at the time are doing very well. So I read this really interesting article that, of course, I forgot to link down below. I have all the links in my email that I was supposed to copy and paste in the description box, but I will copy and paste those for you. But if you Google search for the fashion law, the article is called Brand Loyalty versus Relevance and the Future of Defunct Consumer Companies, which sounds like a big blah, 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 blah. But essentially what they're trying to say is, how do you walk the tightrope between loyalty and relevance in the industry? And I want to go into and explain all of that. And the reason why I didn't want to put this in What's Up in Makeup is I feel like this makes a really good conversation piece. And in order to have a conversation, I need you that are watching on the replay, absolutely, to tell me your thoughts down in the comment section down below. But participating in this conversation today are my guest hosts, which are the collective brain of makeup awesomeness, the people that are here live. They're going to be chiming in their thoughts, and they're essentially my guest hosts for the evening, talking about these brands, because there's a lot, I got one brain and I got one experience, and the people in the community often help me to think in new ways. So therefore, we need them. So let's go ahead and say hello to some of the people that are going to be participating. Let's say hello to Monica. Hi, been a few years since I've been first. Well, welcome. I'm happy you're here. Hi, Jilly Mac. Happy Sunday. There is my husband. And the rest of the moderators, Teresa is here. Hello and welcome to Sunday Chat. Hope you're doing well. Survived the 3-day snow event here in North Dakota. 16 inches of snow. We're currently -2 here. Please like and share to help Jen out. Yes, Teresa was buried in snow. We were texting the whole time while she was buried in snow. So I'm very happy that you're here, Teresa, and that you're warm in your home. Tracy, hello to you in New Jersey. Hot chocolate and watch alive. I ended up making, I accidentally buy these sometimes when I order from Keurig, because Keurig gives you a discount if you order from them. And I accidentally buy these. These are those one-step things. It's the red velvet flavor. And it's delicious, but it's also loaded with sugar. So I only let myself have them every once in a while, because it's really they're not worth the calories, to be 100%. Not calories, but like I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to cut down on my sugar, right? It's not really worth it 100%, but I'm kind of having a hot chocolate with coffee sprinkled in, sort of. So we can drink together. Cheers to you, Tracy. Bama Chick, hello to you. Happy Sunday. Excited to be here. Thank you for the shout out to hit the like button. That really does help out myself and any other video creator that you watch. Please hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying it. Donna Lee, hello to you. Thank you for being here. And if I didn't say good evening to you, or good morning, wherever you are, I want to go ahead and jump into all of this. Paul, I do believe Rimmel does exist in the U.S. I honestly haven't seen it in a while, though. I'm pretty sure it still exists. I didn't see them come out with any holiday launches in the U.S., so I don't know. I'm not really sure. Oh my goodness, Calgary, -23 Celsius, no! Oh my gosh, brought the temperature up to 0 degrees and now we're back into the cold. Oh my gosh, that is nuts. Well, please stay warm, Sarah. Please stay warm with your cute hair. All right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this article. So absolutely fascinating. I will link it down below. Basically what they're talking about is brands that die, right? And then people try to bring them back to life, or another company uses them in order to capitalize on the nostalgia attached to the brand. So they use like Blockbuster, for example. There's a TV show about Blockbuster that's out now about, trying to save a Blockbuster video. I mean, everybody knows what happens at the end. It's like the freaking Titanic, right? Blockbuster's going to go out of business at the end, but it's the journey, it's the nostalgia. They also talked about the rebranding of Polaroid, right? And that, people are will buy things with that nostalgia like Polaroid because they have good memories attached to it, right? They also talk about Stranger Things and the nostalgia and that show. And this is the quote. It says, research reveals that consumers have a complex relationship with dead brands because it doesn't always go well when a dead brand tries to come back. So they talked about like the Volkswagen Beetle in 1997 that people were like, this ain't really a Beetle. It's not really, because it really wasn't. It was different. It was like a modernized version. Didn't go well from what I understand. I could be wrong there. I'm not a car person, but according to the article, it sounded like it didn't go well. They say that consumer loyalty gives the brand value, and that loyalty stems from brand knowledge and likability. And we're going to get to where this is relevant to the makeup space, because I also want to talk about brand collabs, when brands collab with nostalgic stuff. Like we just had the Glamlight, the Strawberry Shortcake collection. We've had SpongeBob with Hip Dot, I believe, and they did Care Bears. And I'm talking about like all the nostalgic makeup that's coming out. I want to talk about how it's relevant to that as well in just a minute. So they also note that dead brands became dead for a reason. When a brand overestimates their brand loyalty, this is what I was talking about in the intro, when a brand overestimates their brand loyalty and current marketing strategies don't evolve, that can cause a classic brand, a beloved brand, to fail, right? Because they're like, everybody loves us, we're doing good, la da 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 da, and then they don't evolve. Revlon, they don't evolve, and then they end up doing terrible because they rely too much on that brand loyalty. And really, when it comes down to it, people are fickle. They have a loyalty to an extent, but eventually that loyalty can die out, and it slowly dies out for many people, and you'll have your diehards that'll always be fans of that Cherries in the Snow. But I mean, how many of them are there? Eventually people start, backing off. It says some research suggests that loyalty declines quickly, but other studies say the opposite, right? You can't assume that because you're popular now, you'll be popular forever, because the needs of consumers change and trends change. So the end game of this is that brands cannot survive on nostalgia alone, on brand loyalty alone. So the question is, and this is the question I want to talk to you about, is how do brands walk that tightrope, right? Between staying with their brand identity, right? They stay with their brand identity, but they also want to evolve. You don't want to evolve too far. Like, you don't want to go too far this way, because if you do, then people are like, who is this? That's what happened with CoverGirl. Do you remember when CoverGirl rebranded to all that black and white packaging, and everybody was like, ew, that is kind of ugly, right? At least not everybody. I thought it was a little bit ugly, right? They did a whole rebrand and they got rid of Easy Breezy Beautiful, and it was like Be You Stay. I forget what it was, but it was like a really cheesy new slogan, and they like jumped off the tightrope. They were like, we're gonna evolve, and then they crashed and burned, and they had to like regroup and like okay, that was a little too far. We went a little too far off the tightrope. So how to brand, and then you have the opposite, which is Revlon, who has never evolved. They've just always had crap eyeshadows, amazing lipsticks, amazing nail polishes, but it's always the same ones over and over again. They don't have like new stuff that it's exciting. They stay off of social media, all of that. So how do you balance that as a brand and evolve, but yet keep your brand identity? That's what I want to talk to you all about. So let me take just a second. I'm going to scroll up because we do have a new member, Diva Dream. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Collective Brain Elite. I appreciate you so much. It's just a kind of like a tip jar. It's $1.99 a month. You should have a join button at the bottom of your screen if you want to join. It's just a thank you, I guess. But I appreciate you joining. There really aren't any perks at this point other than that I say hi if you join during live chat. And yeah, and it really helps me. It helps me to purchase things for review to let you know whether they're good or not. All right. So let's see when I started talking about this stuff. Okay, so this is off topic a little bit, but Deirdre, has anyone tried the product Hair AF? I'm currently using it. Jen Gerard is a friend of mine, and she did send it to me in PR, and I have been using it, and I do see a difference. It is not a serum; it is a tincture. You actually put it underneath your tongue. And it has helped my hair to be thicker. You wouldn't know today because I've been in the wind, but when my hair is freshly washed and not windblown, it really does feel thicker. So yeah, so that's a thing. I'm actually gifting it to my best friend for Christmas because it's been wonderful for me. All right, so let's see. All right, Diva Dream says social media can be so inaccurately translated to overall average consumer sales too. Oh, definitely. I think that sometimes brands can become really popular on social media, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people are buying the product. I think sometimes it does. There's definitely viral products where, you know, you see them everywhere and it creates hype. Like I'm thinking about that Peter Thomas Roth eye cream when that lady on TikTok put the Peter Thomas Roth eye cream under her eye and her eye went and it just tightened up. She had really big bags under her eyes and her eyes just went and people freaked out. They lost their minds and the product sold out like forever because of that TikTok video. So I do think that sometimes viral on social media can lead to insane sales, but I don't think that that necessarily leads to overall average consumer sales because what happens when the hype dies? What happens when people forget about your product because people move on? You know, they have short memories and there's always something coming behind, you know, and I've never really noticed that until like how fast things move until I started doing What's Up in Makeup and realized like, dude, there are new releases literally every week. I was talking to John about this, my husband, and he was saying when I first started doing this, he's like, is there really going to be that much news and that many new product releases every week? And it's like, yeah, actually there are. It's kind of nuts. Yes. Wish list, 12 wish list says there's loyalty versus novelty. Yes. And I think that sometimes, well, it depends on how we're talking. Novelty meaning something new to you, or novelty meaning it's something that no, that's nostalgia. Sorry, my brain is on like 60% power. But yes, loyalty versus novelty. You want something new and different, but you also want to feel like this is the same brand. You don't want to feel like it's a whole new brand, right? So it's different. Hey, Jen. Jen says it's a matter of lack of innovation. I don't need the newest of the same old thing. I don't wear too much makeup anymore. Yeah, I mean, and I've noticed that more in my comments too, where like I did the video recently about brands that I'm going to give another shot. And then I also did brands that I'm not currently buying from. And the ones that I'm not currently buying from, it was fascinating. If you get a second, go over and read the comment section over there because it's fascinating. So like I would talk about like a brand like NARS and people would say, but Dolce Vita will always be my favorite lipstick, right? Or they would say, you know, I'm trying to think of another one, but you know, get what I'm saying. You know, they picked one of the brands that I said, and they were like, yeah, they're kind of boring, but they make my favorite whatever of all time. And that's why they continue to buy from them. And that's where I think I think that some people will always have their favorite products from certain brands, especially if they're not like Jen saying, if you're not really into it, like I buy the same shampoo over and over again because I don't care. I legit don't like, I don't think about it. I found a shampoo that I like, that I enjoy, and I don't need to try new shampoos. And some people are like that with makeup. You know, you have the lipstick color that you like, you have the eyeshadow palette that you like, you have your eyeliner or your mascara that you like, and you don't really branch out because you use your brain power for other things. And those are the people that are keeping these bigger, older brands alive. But I think in order to grow, in order to, you know, keep being relevant, I don't really like that word a whole lot, but in order to keep being relevant, you have to capture more than just your core people. Oh, thank you, John, for answering that. Yes, I haven't talked to Jen in about a month, but that's my fault. That's not her fault. I've been so busy. But that's all on me. It's been about a month since I've talked to Jen. It's my fault though. I need to touch base with her again. Let's see. Oh, okay. Adriana says, I don't think I've ever been loyal to one specific brand. I just buy what I like. And I am like that with makeup, definitely, where well, I mean, I review makeup. And I think this is one thing that's a little bit off topic, but I think that it's relevant where people like I got a comment on today's What's Up in Makeup about, the overconsumption of makeup for beauty YouTubers. The beauty YouTubers buy too much stuff and it's a waste. And it's like, where's the disconnect in understanding what we do for a living? I don't get it. I don't get where the disconnect is. Like, it's like in order to help other people not to waste their money. That's the point. The point is that we buy it so you don't have to buy it. Did I really, really, really want this Wet n Wild tinted hydrator? No. I didn't really, really want it. Did I need it? No. Was I fully aware I did not need this product? Yes. But at the same time, this is a very inexpensive product. And if it's amazing, I want you, people that are watching, to be able to purchase this instead of something that's more expensive. Or if it sucks, I don't want you to go in the store and buy this. So I'm trying to save in order to help other people to make smarter purchasing decisions. I need to buy stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. It was real. Like I told you, I'm on like 60% brain power, so I'm a little off topic, but that just like, I've seen that more and more lately on Twitter and just in videos and people in my comment section just complaining about how much beauty YouTube reviewers buy. And it's like, but that's the point of our literal jobs. You know, like it's different if you're just buying stuff and you never review it. Like if you're just buying stuff just to buy it and there's no reason to put on the channel, like that I get. But if you're buying things specifically to help other people make smarter purchasing decisions, it's not hoarding. It's doing your job, I don't know. I was just real irritated about that. I know that was a huge tangent, but yeah, it's just been really bothering me. So, I have no filter. So, all right, let's go back to the topic. All right, so Max. Hi, Max. Max says, I think ColourPop has built most of their brand on that. The novelty of a Lizzie McGuire, Sailor Moon, et cetera, with boring shadows that wouldn't buy anyway if it wasn't slapped on it. Yes, and I think that that's another big piece of this too, is the brand collabs. And I do want to get into that. I want to stay on this other piece for just a little bit longer as far as the tightrope about, about trends and staying relevant while also staying true to your brand. So the other part of this that I wanted to mention along the lines of that, there was another article that I'm going to link down below. I couldn't read the whole thing because it was published in the Journal of the Academy of Marketing Science. So I could only read the abstract because I don't have all of that clearance or whatever, but this is what it said in the abstract. Brand managers are faced with balancing the preservation of existing brand identity through consistency with the need to maintain relevance, which requires change and innovation. So let's break that up. So you have to balance preserving the existing brand identity through consistency, being consistent with who you are as a brand. But you also need to maintain that relevance, which requires that change and innovation, which I think sums up this whole bit. And I think that really does tell the story of like Revlon. And you think about like Maybelline and L'Oreal, and CoverGirl even now has bounced back from their whole getting rid of easy breezy beautiful, whatever it was that they changed it to. They scrapped that. And I think that they recovered pretty well overall. At least they seem to on the outside, where Revlon just didn't do that. And I think them not being on social media and really doing the social media thing and growing with that was a huge problem for Revlon. I don't think they realized until it was too late that they really needed to jump on that. Now, what I was expecting from Revlon was I was expecting some huge launches for holiday of 2022. And it didn't happen. The only thing that I feel like they really pushed was the hairdryer, which I purchased. I purchased it because I heard so much hype about the stinking hairdryer brush thing. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a brush that's like a hairdryer at the same time, and you go like this and it fluffs your hair. Now, I was thinking about doing a full review of it. I don't know if I should or not, but I did purchase that. But I feel like that's the only thing Revlon pushed all of holiday. There was no like new makeup that they were like, yes, buy this. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if they're, I don't know if it was enough, to be honest. Um, and coming out with things that are trends, like we talked about in What's Been Makeup today about blurring products, faux filter products, illuminating products, light coverage products. All of that stuff is so trendy right now. The wet look, all of that, and the no makeup, and the glass skin, and that's all super trendy. And I feel like a lot of the brands are coming out with all of that right now because they're trying to stay relevant. They're trying to stay in the space of what's popular, and I totally get it. But then you see brands that never seem to jump on any of the trends, that never seem to be able to pick up on what people are buying. And it's like, where are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, they're not releasing anything. It's not just that they're not releasing the trendy products, they're not releasing anything. It's like, what is even happening? All right, Sarah Jane, something I despise when brands do limited edition releases. I get far more excited when brands release new products that will be a part of their core collection. Yeah. And I get the reason behind limited edition. It's another marketing strategy. It's playing off of the FOMO. It's playing off of the, if I don't get it right now, then I'm going to miss it forever and I'm going to regret it and I'm going to wish that I had gotten it. It's playing off of that. But yeah, I agree. And I think that if you're going to do something limited edition, I feel like it's nice to do something similar that's permanent. So like, I don't mind limited edition eyeshadow palettes, stuff like that, because especially at this point, you could probably get those shades in something else. But yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it as much as I probably should hate it. I don't. And maybe it's just because of the job that I do. It's kind of skewed my perception. That might be part of it. But yeah, something that'll be a part of the core collection, I think, is good. Especially when you fall in love with something, you want to be able to repurchase it. Georgia Peach. When I find a fave from one brand, I branch out, try other products from that brand, which may become my go-to brand line. I try something and it's meh, I'm not going to try anything else from the brand. I agree with you 100%. And that happened to me with Wet n Wild. So I have these here because I used them today and I want to tell you more about them. But this was number one. The Wet n Wild eyeliner was number one in my favorites and fails countdown for November. This is from their holiday line. It came in PR. And I loved it so much. And I had such a negative experience with some of the PR they had sent me in the past, specifically the Saved by the Bell collection, that I had no desire to buy anything Wet n Wild, right? But when I tried this, I was like, oh, I see you, Wet n Wild. I see you. Maybe I should buy some other things. So I bought the tinted hydrator thing, and I also bought this brow pencil. This was going to be part of, in a couple minutes, I was telling you it was on my face, but I'll just tell you this part today. This is the micro brow pencil. And I will tell you the application of this is freaking phenomenal. It is this teeny tiny little brow pencil. It is so tiny and amazing at drawing little teeny tiny brow hairs. But this is the thing. I wore this today to the market. I was out it was about 35 degrees in, Canada and North Dakota, you're laughing at me, but but it was like 35 degrees and it was kind of cold, right? So I'm like, my eyes were like running and all this stuff. I got in the car, my brows had nothing on them. Zero brows. I had to redo my brows because I literally had none of this left on my brows today. It was very disappointing. It was very, very disappointing, but I'm going to wear it in normal weather and see if that helps. So we'll see. But my point is, going back to what Georgia Peach was saying, I absolutely do that. When I get something and I love it, I want to try more from the brand, 100%. And I think that that's something that builds brand loyalty. And, we talk about all the time about how some of the holiday releases, Too Faced was very famous for this with their holiday releases, releasing a different formula that was more mass produced, that was lower quality during the holiday season. And you didn't realize it. It was just, they invested all the money in the packaging. And then it crushed the brand loyalty because then you feel like you can't trust them. You feel like you can't trust them in your next purchase because Too Faced is expensive, right? So I think that it's very, very important for a brand to have consistently good quality products. You can't have a miss because all the people that bought that miss, you're crushing their brand loyalty. And if you get a hit, then you're going to increase that brand loyalty, which I think is super, super important. you know, for a brand to survive. Absolutely. Oh no, Dion says that eyeliner is wonderful, but I didn't pay attention when recapping, and now my brush is displayed. Oh no, so it's like all like out. Oh, well, I need to make sure I'm careful with that. Thank you for that tip there, because I wasn't even thinking about that might happen with this. So I appreciate it, so that I don't do it. I don't do that with mine. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. Yeah, and this is a whole nother thing, Joe. Cancel culture. I agree. Brands that work with influencers run the risk of relying on the influencer's reputation staying positive, and cancel culture is insane. And that's what I think happened with Morphe. Like 100%. I think that that's what's happening as far as them not getting sales, is their whole brand identity was based on working with influencers. And when those influencers got themselves into some trouble, then the brand was dragged into it as well. It's that's just kind of the risk that you take with when you're working with human beings. You know, so that's a thing. That's definitely a thing. And that kind of goes into the next thing I wanted to talk about. I'm going to take a little break and tell you what's on my face and go into when brands are collabing. So either with influencers or with nostalgic concepts or with food places or whatever, how that affects the brand and whether that is a good long-term strategy or maybe something that they need to not rely on so much. I want to get into that in a second, because I think that that can bury a brand as well, aka Becca. I feel like that it wasn't the best thing for Becca. We'll talk about it though. So let's take just a second and talk about what's on my face. So I wanted to do green and red today for my eyes for the market today. So I ended up doing all over my eyes. ColourPop sent me a vault of some of these super shocks. So I picked this one. This is called Malibu Date, and that's what's all over my lids. I did not reapply this after the market. It was a bit more vibrant, but it really was relatively sheer even when I put it on. So I did not reapply that. And then I was looking for a red shadow because I wanted to do this red liner. So what I did was I used the Wet n Wild eyeliner, and then I found this. This was sent PR a long, long time ago. This is the Nightfall palette by C Color. And this is what it looks like on the inside. It might look like a familiar palette. I believe this is a dupe of a Huda Beauty palette, I believe. Maybe I could be wrong there. But I used this shade right here, and then I topped it with this one here. I did have to reapply because I got in the car and I had rubbed my wings off. And I also, this brown up here was completely gone. That was this shade here, was the brown that I put right here, like to kind of build up my crease a little bit. On my lower lash line, I use this. This was PR as well. This is from the ColourPop and Muppets collection. This is called Yay! And I wanted to use this. You can see I barely used it, but I used it on my lower lash line to kind of get that pop of deep green there. On my lips today, I use this. This is also PR from ColourPop, the Luxe Velvet. But I don't see a name on this. Emotional. SD emotional. I don't know. EMO-TIONAL. Looks like it's what's printed on the side. Usually there's a sticker on the bottom, but there's no sticker on the bottom, so I'm a little bit confused as far as what the shade is. So that's what's on my lips, and then I just topped that with this gloss that I bought, something I actually bought. This is Elf's Cookies and Dreams gloss, just to kind of give it like a little more comfort because my lips were kind of dry. So that is what is on my face today. So take a sip of my fake coffee, my hot chocolate coffee. Paul says, you remember when Elf and Nick's had brick and mortar stores? I remember going to the Nick's store in California. It was a Walnut Creek, California. They had a Nick's store. I went with my friend Nicole from Yay or Nay Nicole, and it was a very, very unique experience. I would just say that, seeing all the Nick stuff in the store. But yeah. So okay. Sorry. My brain farted for a second, but I'm back. Okay. So I wanted to talk about the difference between the way that HipDot handles collabs versus the way ColourPop handles collabs. So if you've noticed, HipDot as a brand started off by releasing makeup just the way everybody releases makeup, right? And then they started doing collabs with different other companies, or nostalgic stuff. They've done everything from cup of noodles to, or cup noodles, they call it, to My Chemical Romance, to Hello Kitty, to Monopoly, and Ouija boards. And they've done so many different collabs. And honestly, I haven't seen Hip Dot release anything that wasn't a collab with another company, in years, in forever. Where with ColourPop, what they're doing is they're doing some collabs, but they're also releasing stuff that is not a collab. And I think that that's the smarter strategy, because I feel like people can only handle so much nostalgia. And if your whole brand is based on collabs with someone that's not you, if for some reason you're not doing those anymore, you can't get the collabs that you want, you can't do something new and fresh, then your whole brand is going to crash. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that there is much of a risk as Morphe was collabing with human beings, where you are relying on that human being. I think it's smarter to collab with inanimate objects in movies and, food. I think that's a lot smarter. So I don't see it as much of a risk as collabing with an influencer, but I do wish that Hip Dot released more really cool stuff that wasn't a collab. But part of that might be that ColourPop has their own lab over at C Beauty, so they can kind of do what they want. I don't know how Hip Dot does their stuff. But if they don't have their own lab, I would imagine it's harder to push out more stuff. And if their collabs are doing really well, why should they do something else? But I personally think it would be a smart marketing strategy to mix it up a little bit, kind of like the way Glam Light does. So you'll see Glam Light release the Strawberry Shortcake collection, and then they'll release a martini collection. So it's based on something, but it's their own thing. It's not based on the success of somebody else and trying to pull from that nostalgia, because like we were talking about, nostalgia can be very fickle. So, I do think that it's smart to collab with all kinds of brands, all kinds of stuff, but at the same time, I wish that they would come out with some things that weren't like that. Like when they first launched, they had the taco palette, the burger palette. No, that was Glam Light. I thought that was Hip Dot. That wasn't Hip Dot. But when Hip Dot first launched, they did have some stuff that wasn't a collab. So, oh, interesting. Christina says ColourPop quality is better overall than Hip Dot in my experience too. I feel like for me, the quality is for both can be hit and miss. I feel like that ColourPop has more choices of types of products. So I think that they're more likely to have misses just because of the sheer number of different kinds of products that they have. I'm trying to think what I didn't like from Hip. Oh, no, the lipsticks are good. I was trying to think what I didn't like from Hip Dot. Sometimes I get Hip Dot and Glam Light mixed up in my brain because I feel like their marketing strategies are so similar. But I think what I was thinking of was Glam Light, because they had some lip glosses that I bought that were in an ice cream bar. It was almost like a popsicle, and it had 3 lip glosses in it, and they were supposed to smell like chocolate or something. And they were awful. They smelled rotten. It was terrible. It was horrible. So I think I was just getting confused for a second. Yeah, Diva Dream says exactly why ColourPop in-house shouldn't be compared to Morphe private label. Totally different. Yeah, and see, I don't know how much. It's like I wish I knew on the back end of Morphe how much control they had over their formulas, because one time I ended up, because I'm such a geek, I went through all of the Morphe eyeshadow formulas and compared them. Literally looking at the ingredient lists, made a spreadsheet, and then compared all of the different formulas. It's in a video somewhere. I want to say I did it because of the James Charles palette, but I made this whole spreadsheet of all the ingredients, and they had of eyeshadow specifically, they had, I think, of palette lines, they had maybe 6 or 7 different like completely different formulas. Usually when you get an eyeshadow palette formula, like if you go to any brand, the base of the formula is pretty much the same for their shimmer eyeshadows and their matte eyeshadows. They'll be different. Like you'll have like your shimmer shadows will have one formula, your foiled eyeshadows will have one formula, and then your matte formula will be different, right? But those same formulas are essentially the same throughout their entire range. Where Morphe, it was all over the freaking place. I mean, it was like like every palette had a completely different, it was weird. It was really freaking weird. So I don't know as far as like why that happened, whether it was something that was happening in the lab they were getting it from because it was private label or what. I don't know. But I do think it was really, really smart that ColourPop had their own lab from the jump. I think that was really smart. I don't know like how they ended up doing that, like how they had the funds to do that, because I can't even imagine how expensive that was. But I guess they just started off with Super Shock Shadows, right? Isn't that all they had in the beginning? And then they had the lippy sticks after that. Do you remember that there was a time that ColourPop did not have eyeshadow palettes? They had no eyeshadow palettes. It was all these. This is all they had. And then they had blushes like this. And then I think they did the highlighters like this. And then they did the lippy sticks. But that was all they had for the longest time. And then they just got huge. But yeah, I do think that we need to make sure we're watching who we compare to who to make sure that it's fair, 100%. But it's hard to know what's happening on the back end too. Oh, nice. Bunny Pie says, I got my first ColourPop from Target. It's been nice to make a nice look. Oh, that's good. That's great. Hi, Siri. Siri says, to be fair, Morphe was also hawking some pretty rubbish products, so they had no leg to stand on once the hype blew up in their faces. They might have been able to recover if their stuff wasn't so bad. And I think this is what I think happened, Siri, with Morphe specifically, is I know I keep playing with my hair. I'm self-conscious about it being frizzy right now and also being flat. Okay, so anyway, I think what happened with that was that they built up really big when the Urban Decay original Naked palettes, the Naked 1 and the Naked 2 and the Naked 3 were very, very popular. If you go back and try those products and compare them to the products that are available now, like maybe a Huda Beauty or even a ColourPop, the quality is just not there, meaning that they're more likely to blend away as you're trying to blend them. They're more likely to have to be packed onto the lid over and over again. The lasting power isn't as good. They're just harder to work with than the shadows that we have today. And I think Morphe, their formulas just didn't evolve. We're talking here about evolution, and I feel like the formulas didn't evolve with the market. They evolved packaging wise and theme wise, but they didn't evolve quality wise. And I think that the customer, when the quality of e.l.f. went up significantly, when ColourPop became available, when we started getting products that were of a lower cost and a higher quality, Morphe's stuff was a mid-level kind of price-ish. You know, it was like a little bit more expensive than drugstore, but it wasn't nearly as good a quality. So why am I going to buy a 28 pan eyeshadow palette or whatever and spend X amount of dollars on it when I can get, so much better at the drugstore? You know what I'm saying? So I do think that why they had no leg to stand on was that they got comfortable in the mediocre quality of their products. They had people like Jaclyn Hill, who, for all of her faults, is extremely talented at makeup. She is. She just is. She's very good at it. I cannot deny that. She's very good at makeup using this crap formula. And if you're very talented, you can make poop work, like you can do if you're that good, you can make it work. You can make it work. You can figure out, not without struggle, but you can make it work. And you can always edit out the struggle. I don't have to keep that in, Not saying that she did that because I have no evidence that she did. But what I'm saying is that I do think, when you get talented makeup artists and then you get home as a non-talented makeup artist like myself, and you try to do the same thing and you're like, this is not working. So yeah, I agree with you about the no leg to stand on once the hype blew up in their faces. I agree with you 100% on that. Oh, Georgia Peach, thank you for joining the Collective Brain Elite. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yes, exactly, Diva Dream. Why do I keep seeing the same people? It's so weird. It's like every time I have chat, it's always like certain people keep popping up. I guess because the way that I scroll, they put all their money towards brick and mortar stores and influencers. Yes, definitely. Hi, Afrest. Afrest says, a guy bought a cosmetics factory and his kids, I think, had the idea to make cosmetics on their own instead of making it for other companies. Are you talking about with Morphe? You know what makes me upset is I knew that story at one point. The guy who worked for Moda Brushes had all the inside tea on what happened, what the origins of Morphe. And at one point, I used to be real close to people over at Moda Brushes, and I heard all the tea about what was happening over at Morphe. Not tea, but like they basically just, I mean, it wasn't like gossip. It was just like, this is how they started. It was just factual information. And I had all that in my head, and now it's gone. But yeah, I believe it's something like that. It was like cousins or something. Like I don't know. I wish someone would do the digging and find out. And do a video on the origins of Morphe and have it be accurate. That would be amazing. Yeah, good point, Jen. Plus, I don't want a 28 shadow palette anymore. Yeah, I don't either. They're too big. I remember when the James Charles palette came out and I bought it for review and I was like, this thing is too freaking huge, man. It's bigger than my whole head. You know? Oh, you think the elite comments get pushed first? Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Every week it's the same people like that I keep seeing. It's like I click on the same people every week, and I don't do it on purpose, I promise. Hi, Raphael. Raphael says, one big issue I have is when some brands sell their products as their own formula creations, and they're not. They're catalog formulas. The deception is a pill I can't swallow. Do you remember when that happened in BoxyCharm with like a 24 karat gold moisturizer or something? And it was like they found it on Alibaba. And they'd sit in BoxyCharm. It was like $150 product, and it was like on Alibaba for like $3 a jar or something like. But yes, I agree because people aren't going to check, right? They're not going to check. I just noticed how totally different these colors of black are. It's driving me nuts now. I wanted to wear my Christmas shirt, and I was too cold to just wear it as a t-shirt, so I didn't. All right. Diva Dream again. Speaking of Morphe, people are really worried about Stephanie Nicole. She hasn't posted in over a year. Yeah, I'm sure she's fine, honestly. I haven't talked to her in a really long time, but Stephanie is she is just the way she is on camera. She is kind of got a dry humor, which is fabulous. My favorite kind of people. But she has so much knowledge and so much talent. I'm sure she's running the world somewhere. I'm sure she's doing amazing. YouTube was never, I don't think, like the thing for her. I think she enjoyed it, and I think that she enjoyed what she did on YouTube, but I don't ever think that that was like the end game for Stephanie, you know? Like I feel like Stephanie was born for bigger things. You know, maybe more behind the scenes kinds of stuff. Incredible person. I do miss her on YouTube as well. And I hope that she is doing well wherever she is. I have her phone number somewhere, but I think that would be really weird after like 4 years. Just be like, what's up? But I wouldn't worry about her, honestly. I'm sure she's fine, just living her best life, doing something, just not in front of the camera. I'm sure she's fine. All right. Hi, is it Dynakin? Hopefully I did okay. I remember that about Morphe and Moda Brushes, but the factory story is ColourPop, I think. Yeah, ColourPop has their own factory, yes. Let's see. Oh, I don't get the correlation between Stephanie and Morphe. Okay, so Stephanie Nicole, if you are not familiar, Stephanie Nicole was a YouTuber, but I should probably give you the background. Amazing, amazing YouTuber. You should totally go back and check out her videos. She did a lot of reviews on lipsticks. She had like a whole like liquid lipstick like thing that she did. She did a lot of really, really good makeup reviews, and she was very talented. Her swatching was incredible, so good, and she exposed some things about Morphe that people did not know at the time, and she was very anti-Morphe. So that's the connection there and why people talk about it. But I don't want to like say that she said something and be inaccurate, because it's been a while since I've seen it. So okay, this is interesting. Georgia Peach says, with collabs, ever notice the newest content creators put out video after video of indie brands? Collabs concern me. The newest creators are looking for sub count, not necessarily honest opinions. This is interesting. So the newest content creators put out video after video of indie brands. I think that indie brands can be more mentally stimulating than mainstream brands. I think that they can definitely be more interesting. And also, I think indie brands are more likely to reach out to smaller creators for PR, to give them PR so that they are able to review something. I don't think that people necessarily know like how hard it is to do a review channel without a lot of money and without a lot of PR. I did it without getting a lot of PR for about 3 years, and it's very, very difficult to keep up with things financially. So when you start getting PR, it's extremely valuable because it gives you content that you can make. It does concern me when it seems like any creator of any size is looking for sub count, not necessarily honest opinions, because this is the thing, is that people aren't going to watch you if they can't trust you. Because what's the point? What's the point of watching a video review if you can't trust the creator? You know, unless you're watching it for pure entertainment purposes, which some people do watch people for pure entertainment purposes. So it's definitely a bad route to go. But the problem is that people are afraid. New creators are afraid that if, like, let's say this is how excited I was to work with I don't even know how long this has been sitting. That they sent this to me a while back, but like, let's say I'm really excited to be on C Color's PR, and I'm worried that if I say something negative about this, then I won't get the PR, and then I'll have to purchase more, and I don't really have the money to purchase more, but I want to grow my channel, and I know C Color is very, very popular in my brain, and I want to do everything I can so that I can review this, because I think that it's going to help me to maybe quit my day job that I hate, so that I can be home doing YouTube instead of that, because that's what I want to do for my career, is I want to do YouTube. So if I say something negative about it, then maybe they won't send it to me, and that's me shooting myself in the foot. So it's definitely a tricky path to walk. And you were talking about tightropes earlier with brands. It's a tightrope as well for somebody that's starting out that wants to stay on PR. Now, for me, I'm too big of a loudmouth, and I'm too terrible of a liar to not be honest with you when something sucks. So I just got on PR, and then I wasn't on PR, or it didn't, like, I definitely did not go about it the most efficient way. Getting PR, I can't even tell you how many brands were like, why did you say that about our product? And it's like, well, because it's true. That's why. If you want, you can send me to things in the production phase, and I will take some time to look at it before you produce it so that it doesn't suck. Don't send it to me after and ask me to review it and expect me to say something positive about it when it sucks, because it's not going to happen, you know? So yeah, I mean, so that's kind of my take on that as far as indie brands and newer influencers or smaller creators. It's a tough road, man. I mean, there really are so many beauty video creators out there. And this is something that I've been talking about on Twitter some with a guy named Roberto Blake, he's all about YouTube growth. So if you are trying to grow a YouTube channel, I definitely recommend going to subscribe to Roberto. He's got so much knowledge. He's just an incredible person, really wants to help people, and also really wants to make lots of money, and is not shy about saying how much money he wants to make. So, one thing that we talk about a lot, Roberto and I, is about the makeup space and how there's so many creators. And what you really need to do if you're trying to start a YouTube channel in beauty space or even be a beauty creator right now is figure out what you're good at that's different than everybody else, and then do it so well that nobody can copy it. I think that the problem with the things that I've created that I've loved to do is that they're easily copied. So you end up with a bunch of people doing things, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, everybody has a right to do whatever creation. I don't own any of the concepts that I've, done, but they're very easily copied. And I think that's been my problem, is I can't figure out like what I do that is like better than other people that can't be copied. That's what I'm still working on. But I think that that's how you can stand out in the beauty space. And because, it used to be, I think, I don't know. It never was easy though. It never was easy to stand out. Never. It never has been. Like I think about like Raw Beauty Christie and like her personality. You can't replace that. She's Christie. Like nobody is Christie. Nobody's Christie. Like she's just Christie. And I feel like that's what you need in order to be successful in the beauty space. And I don't think that PR is going to, back to what we're talking about, I don't think PR is going to make you be that person. I think it's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you, Anna. Anna says, that's why you're so great though, Jen. You're honest and entertaining. What a better combo. That's what I try to be. And you know what? I can't be anything that I'm not. So I just do the best to be myself. People can like it or not like it. It's okay. Either way is fine. But yeah. Oh, hi, Michelle. Michelle says, popping in for the last 10 minutes, got a sick baby. I hope your baby feels better soon. Sorry to hear that. Oh, I love this. Paul says, Jen, you're definitely the Kurt Loder MTV News of makeup. So that's your thing. I love that. I love that so much. And that's what I'm going to keep doing because that's what I enjoy doing. And I have, a solid group of amazing people that love What's Up in Makeup, that love live chat, that love my Friday videos. And I'm so thankful. I don't want to make it sound like I don't have subscribers that watch my channel because I absolutely do. And I'm very, very, very thankful. But people like, people are rough in the space. You could have, 1 million subscribers and people say, well, you suck because you don't have 2 million. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't want to sound like ungrateful or anything or feel like, my channel is not doing well because it is doing very well. My channel is doing fine. But as far as like the heights of, I'm talking about like the heights of beauty YouTube, the where it used to be, where you like the Tatis and the Jacquelines and the Jameses and the people that always had like millions of views per video. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they had like a spark of magic that made them, that people like gravitated to. And I feel like even those channels are kind of falling off. Have you noticed that? Like even like the big beauty channels aren't getting the millions of views that they used to. And I think that's just the evolution of the space. I definitely do. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like it's an evolution. And I think that just like brands need to figure out how to stay relevant and how to evolve with the times, I think beauty YouTubers need to do the same thing. Hi, Tina. Tina says the last update she mentioned health issues, so I do worry about Stephanie Nicole. Well, thank you for letting me know that. For some reason, I missed that. But I can definitely reach out to her. I can try. Let me see. I'll text her right now. Let's see. Where is she? There she is. Let's see if her phone number works. Last time I talked to her was July 31st of 2019. Let's text her real quick. You ready? Hi, Stephanie, ! I know it's been forever since we chatted, period. We were just talking about you in live chat and everybody wanted to know how you're doing, period. I thought this would be a great opportunity to reach out and check in and see what's been going on, period. Miss you, ! Hope you're doing well, ! Okay, now I have to proofread. All right, sent. So we'll see. Oh, it says delivered. So we'll see what happens. There you go. So we'll see whether she texts me back or not. I don't even know if it's still her phone number. I mean, it's literally been since the summer of 2019 since I've talked to her. So we'll see. I might not read exactly what she wrote, but I'll let you know if she responds back. I'm like waiting for the ... Wouldn't that be cool if she responds back? So yeah. You know what, Christina, I used to have a lot more connections than I do now. I used to know like everybody because I used to go to all the beauty events and you would meet so many people. They were so cool. The Ipsy events we used to go to, I know we're like off topic at this point, but the Ipsy events we used to go to were freaking amazing for meeting people because you would go to these they were like parties. They're like big parties that you would go to. And everybody, you know, small creators, larger creators, everybody was all in the same room. And you just mingled around and talked to people and whatever. And I met so many people that way, like so many people. And then like also, so that was one way I met a lot of people. And then on Twitter, I met a lot of people on Twitter. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was delivered. I'm like looking at it. I need to turn it off. I'm going to turn on my sound. I'm going to stop staring at it and turn on because I usually have my ringer off. Okay. Beauty events have not happened that I know of. I know there are some brand trips that have happened. But I've never been invited to a brand trip except for I went to the one Ofra brand trip was the only one that I went to. It wasn't even a brand trip. It was like they flew a few of us out to Florida, but it wasn't even like it wasn't a brand trip. It was for like a launch at because that's where their home base is. Yes, Aegis Beauty. Gem Beauty was amazing. We used to complain about it at the time because it always had little issues, but it was fabulous. It was wonderful to meet people. And I did that travel collab series where I went and I flew out to meet different people. That's how I met Stephanie, was I flew out to collab with her. Like I was like just taking planes and just going because I was really, my channel was doing really well back then. And like, well, it's still doing well now. I got to correct myself, but my channel was like crushing it. So like I was just flying everywhere and just meeting people and doing collabs. It was amazing. That's where I met Emily Noel and like so many people. It was fabulous. So yeah. All right, we've got about 3 minutes left. Yeah, COVID did kill beauty events. And the thing about the beauty events, the Ipsy ones, is Michelle Phan was really the one that organized those events. Those existed because of Michelle. Michelle left Ipsy. So I would imagine they're not going to happen again. So yeah, it would be amazing if Stephanie jumped into the live stream. That would be incredible. Jennifer wanted to know what I think has been the best holiday collection. Honestly, like I really liked, I liked this palette. These were all PR, but because I didn't purchase any, like little pieces of the different holiday collections. I really liked the ColourPop Muppets. I liked a lot of stuff from there. I really liked just this specific palette from the Revolution Grinch collection. I liked this one too, the Wet n Wild Peanuts palette. I was shocked that I liked this. And then this was the other palette that I really liked, the ColourPop one. I can't pick from all of them. I would say, well, I can pick. If I would say out of these three, which one I really like the most, it's probably this one. But honestly, I think that it's the branding on it. As far as quality, I would say these two are very similar in quality. Well, they're a little different in formula, but as far as usability, they're both good. I just like the color story in this one, and I love the Muppets more than I love Peanuts. So, but yeah. But this sucked. Don't get this. It sucks. So yeah. And then the eyeliner from the Peanuts collection too. I keep looking, like wondering. It's so weird to like reach out to her since 20. Wait, how many years is that? 3 years? 3.5 years since I've talked to her? Like all nervous now. I'm like, because it's just awkward and weird to like text somebody out of the blue. Yes. Yes, Angie, we did makeup bingo together. We did. Okay, so I did not meet Taylor Wynn or Jessica Braun. Jessica and I were talking about maybe me flying out to see her, but it just never worked out. And Taylor, I've talked to a little bit here and there. Talking about Project Beauty Share and also talking about what was it? Oh, I did a video on Taylor where I talked about, why people subscribe to Taylor. And it was like a big, like I was doing these tribute videos to YouTubers that I admired. And that I did one on Taylor. So we talked a little bit around that, but I haven't talked to either one of them in a while. So I think that the pandemic really did put a monkey wrench in all these things, So, oh, thank you so much, Jib. Jib says you filled a niche that the community needed. I try to. I have a lot of, I've been doing this 10 years and I still love it. I still really love coming on live chat. I still really love what's in makeup. Sometimes I don't love the researching so much. Like I don't love researching for I like finding out the information for the product report, but I don't necessarily love researching it. But I do like reading the news articles for top news. I do enjoy that. And I enjoy finding the artist for the artist shout out. But yeah, and I like figuring out what I'm going to do for my Friday videos. That's been fun lately. So yes, Taylor has been doing a lot of traveling. Oh, thank you so much, Spirited Dragonfly. Your older makeup Reddit stories are my favorite. Yeah, those videos don't get as many views as the other ones, but I'm having so much fun. I legit don't care. I'm still going to do them. The makeup and Reddit rewinds, they're so fun. Like the stories are hilarious. Like I die. They're so great. And it's just fun to like dig into my makeup collection and try things I haven't tried in a while. And I really enjoy making those. So I'm so glad that you enjoy them. Even if not as many people like give them a shot, like I don't care. They're so fun. Oh, thank you, Forum Glory. What's Up in Makeup is my all-time fave. Well, thank you. I've been doing What's Up Makeup for so long. It's gone through so many different versions of it. It's definitely been an evolution, but honestly, the current iteration is probably my favorite. I do miss having my team though. Some of them really, like I'm happy that some of them I still kept in touch with. But yeah, I do miss having a team sometimes. but yeah, it just got too expensive to have a team. I couldn't afford it anymore. And I wanted to switch up the format a bit. So yeah, but yeah, What's Up in Makeup has been definitely a fun passion project for a long time. I've really enjoyed it. Oh, thank you. Tomorrow, you and Kate the Great are my Can't Miss live chats. I've talked to Kate here and there too. Kate and I are connected on the app Marco Polo. We've chatted a few times, not a whole lot, but every once in a while. So see, now I'm worried. Like maybe I should have been worried. I wasn't worried because Stephanie Nicole is such an independent soul. Like she's so independent. She's amazing. So that's why I wasn't worried about her, because she's like so independent. But yeah, so what I'll do is if for some reason, because I have to go because we're 2 minutes over, what I'll do is if she does respond, then I will put something in the chat, in the description box, and I'll also put a pinned post, and then I'll talk about it another time just to let you know that she's fine. Even just to be like, hey, she's fine. I wouldn't say anything that's private, of course, but at least to let you all know that she's doing okay. QB, new member, thank you so much. HQB, where are you? Where'd you go? I need to find you before I go. There you are. Thank you so much for joining the Collective Brain Elite. I appreciate you. And I love that makeup look in your picture with the two-tone hair. It's so cute. I love it. I love it so much. All right. I got to go. Thank you so much. As far as chat this next couple of weeks, definitely no chat or What's Up in Makeup next week. We may do a live chat on the 1st, maybe. If we do, it'll be at 10 a.m. on January 1st. But I don't know if we're going to do it or not. It just kind of depends. But probably no What's Up in Makeup, because I'm going to have my 2-year-old nephew in my house for the whole week. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it together. So I will definitely at the very, very latest see you on the 8th. And I do plan on putting up a video on Friday. I have my Stitch Fix /Wantable unboxing that needs to go up on Friday so I can open up my boxes and return the stuff that I don't want. So yeah, have a wonderful holiday if I don't see you. Mad love to you. Thank you for joining me in chat today. And yeah, hit the subscribe button on the way out if you want to. And thumbs up. Mad love. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah if you celebrate, because it starts like now. So yeah, it's a good thing. All right. Yeah. I'm going to go light my menorah. Mad love.